Is there blue skies ahead for Litecoin and Bitcoin? What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. We're going to take a look at Litecoin and Bitcoin and take a look at where we might possibly be headed. I'm going to give you my opinion of where I think it's going, but I'm also going to look at all the possibilities. First, we're going to look at Litecoin and then Bitcoin. And at the end of the video, as always, I like to compare the Bitcoin daily chart to the gold weekly chart. The similarities are amazing, and that's why I believe we could be seeing some very blue skies ahead. So stick around to the end to see that. But first, I want to remind everybody to leave your comments in the comment section down below. That gets you entered to win the free t-shirt. I will be picking a random comment Sunday from one of the videos this week. So make sure you've commented on all the videos this week to get you entered to win. Yeah, let's get into the charts.
1, 2, 3,
All right, guys, as always, want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. And also keep in mind that it's still a speculative market. Don't put in more than you're willing to lose. All right, so if you're new here or you haven't already, hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand side of the screen. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. If you tick the notification bell, that'll get you notified whenever I post new videos so you don't miss out on anything. And also, don't forget to smash those thumbs. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of the video. And also, that gets you entered to win the free t-shirt on Sunday. We'll be doing a drawing in Sunday's video. So let's get into the charts. We're looking at Litecoin on the daily. And I've been talking about this cup and handle for quite a while. It's not a guarantee, but it could possibly be a cup right here with a handle forming here. And the measured move off that would be using the neckline at around $99. And if we were to bring it over here, if we were to break out above this over here, that gets me to around the 179, 180 range. So that's obviously you know, a high target that could take a while, but it's not like I don't believe we would shoot straight up to it. That is a possibility, but we are going to look at all the possibilities. We're going to look at the more bearish scenario too. So I'm going to take a look at the RSI. As you can see, I have this. I'm going to get rid of this line here, guys. I don't think we need that anymore. But looking at this as a rising wedge, obviously we've been getting resistance at the top and support down here at the bottom. And it looks like, you know, either we're ready for a move up here or we come back down and touch one more time and then possibly get our next move up. But we do need to keep an eye on this. If we break down, that's going to be the more bearish scenario. And we're going to take a look at all that. So actually, I'm going to go into the 4 hour first. Look at the RSI on the 4 hour. I had this falling wedge drawn that we've broken out of. But also, as you can see, these two trend lines, this top one here and this bottom one here, where we've been getting resistance and support. We broke up out of it here and broke back down. And then we did the same on the bottom, broke down, broke back up in. So, again, we could be coming back down to test the bottom of this one, or we could be coming back up to test the top of this one. And like I said, I will give you my opinion after showing the possibilities. So let's take a look at where we're at here. All right, so we're in the 4 hour here, and I have this rising or broadening wedge drawn here, right? These two lines, you can look at this as the top and the bottom here. But also we have this long-term rising channel that I had drawn in here, which we broke out of over here, and we've been testing the top of it here. So what I'm looking at is, you know, we could possibly continue up, move up from here. What I like to do in this situation is watch these RSIs. If these all cross up back over my 55, which is this line here, and the EMAs I'm using here are the 8, the 13, and the 21, these three here, and then obviously the 200 EMA here. So if we are to if these are to turn up and push up, I do see us coming up to the 83 or $88 range up in here, which would be the top of this descending channel or falling channel here. Now, I do want to also look at the possibility of coming down, and I do see us coming down to possibly retest the bottom of this, which is around the $75 range. Now, if we are to break down here and come back down and test the bottom of this channel, you know, then we could come back in here and try to break back through this channel. But let's take a look at the bearish scenario first. So the bearish scenario obviously is if we break down from this line. I do see us coming down to test possibly the bottom of this channel here, which is going to be around the $69 range. But we also have to watch right here at 200 EMA for support, and that's going to be around the $73 range. And that's if we break down out of this wedge. Now, another possibility as the bearish scenario, if we do come down to the bottom of this wedge and break down, we could be looking at the $61 range right here. And I had a target there. I don't know what happened, but I do want to look at the other possibility. I'm going to put this back up here and do a measured move off of this falling channel. If we were to break down from there, that brings me down to right around the $51 range. And I also have this measured move from this rising wedge here, or rising channel here. If we were to bounce around in here and break down, that also gets me to the same area. So we would be looking between the 52 to the $50 range. Somewhere in there would be my target. So that's what I'm looking at for our low targets. Now, my opinion is that we most likely move up from here. Obviously, I do believe we might test back down to this line, $79 range. And if we break below that, my next support is right here at the $74.50 to $75 range, and then possibly the move back up. So if we were to continue up from here, like I said, my target up to the top of this channel is the $88 range. Now, if we were to break through my next, let's see, if we were to break through the wedge, then we're looking at the 103 area, which would be right in here. But I do believe if we break up out of this channel, that this would be the measured move for that. We would take this, the length of the channel here, or the width of the channel, and put that up to where we would break out. And that gets me up to the 108.15 range, guys. And again, I'm bullish here. I do see a possible smaller move down first, and then continue up. But my opinion is that we do move up to these targets. And then the higher target I have there at the 127 would be a measured move of this flagpole and a breakout of right here at the breaking out of this bull flag here, which is the falling channel, which brings me up to the 127 range. Now we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. Excuse me. The same thing, looking at this as a possible cup and a handle forming here. And the neckline would be right around here, right around the $5,500 range. And if we take the measured move of the cup and put it to, if we are forming a handle here, right up here in the 78.50 range would be my target. And if we look across here, you know, we had resistance, support, all in that area. So that makes a lot of sense if we were to move up in this range, which I do believe is possible. I know everybody's still, you know, bearish and thinking we have to go down from here, but in my opinion, I think Litecoin and Bitcoin are going to surprise everybody again, and we're going to have a continued move up. I don't like to use a lot of the indicators, that NVTs and all that. People just, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me to use that stuff when all you really need is the RSI and, you know, price action. Use your trend lines, support and resistance, and I do like to use my EMAs, guys. But as you can see here in the daily RSI, I have this rising channel drawn. And if we zoom in a little bit on this channel down here, actually I'll open it up for you guys. I do believe we possibly come back down to test this before moving up, but we're going to take a look at all the scenarios like we did in Litecoin. So we'll take a look at the 4-hour first. All right, in the 4-hour, I had this falling channel drawn here, and that's why I believe we come back down to at least test this area, possibly come further if we extend this trend line here, possibly come further and come down and test this trend line here, which would get us into the oversold zone. So let's look into the price action. We're going to first look at the bearish scenario, and then I'm going to show you what I think is possibly going to happen. Same thing, I have this rising broadening wedge drawn here, guys. Also, you can see I have this channel drawn here with the top of the channel here, bottom of the channel here. So what I'm looking at, if we were to break down, now I do believe that we're going to come down to at least this area right around the $5,000 area, give or take $50. I do definitely believe that we're coming down, but that's my opinion of what's going on. The other possibility is we break up from here, but let's take a look at my targets here. If we were to break down out of this broadening wedge here, the measured move on that would be the width of the broadening wedge where we break down. So I would bring that down to about here, and that gets me to about the 4650 range, which would also line up with the 200 EMA. But the other thing to look at there would be a measured move off this bigger channel, rising channel here. And if we take a measured move of that channel and we take it to where we would possibly break down, that gets me into the $4,400 range, which is right in here, which would also be the top of this old channel here. Let me move it up so you guys can see it. This old rising channel here, we could possibly come down to test the top of that channel and then continue up from there. But guys, I do not see us going below the $4,400 range. I just don't see it happening. Again, guys, that's just my opinion, but I don't see it happening. Now I'm going to look at what I believe is going to happen here. We did take a look at the bearish scenario, which is definitely possible, guys, but I do want to take a look at what I think is going on here. And if you guys remember on my Discord, you know I've had a long put it down here at the 5,050 range. I do believe it could possibly go lower, you know, as low as 49.60, 49.50. But I did enter, I do have a trade entered here for a long at 50.50, and then I have my stop loss at 49.50 just to be transparent and tell you guys what I'm thinking. And I could be wrong, but I do believe we come back down to test either the bottom of this channel or the bottom of this wedge and then continue up from there. Now, if we were to break up straight from here, I want to show you guys what I think would happen there. So I have it, if we were to break up from here and break this 53.30 range, somewhere in there, I'm going to put a measured move in there. I thought I had it here. I don't know what happened, but do a measured move on this wedge here, and we put it up to here, which gets us up to the top of this channel here again, which that's what I have marked there at the 5650 range. Now, looking at, like I said, I do believe we're coming down first, but it is possible we break straight up from here and test the top of this channel. And if we break through that channel, which is going to be around that $5,650 to $5,700 range, then my next target is this 30 or 6305. And the reason being, I have this long-term trend here coming up. But if we do a measured move off of, let me get this here, the measured move off this channel, this rising channel, if we were to break out up there, guys, that's where I get that $6,300 range. And then obviously you know, we could have a lot higher than that. And the other target, the $6,800 target, is measured move off this flagpole, to where if we were to break out of this, and this was a bull flag here, that gets me up to the $6,800 range, guys. But I am still bullish here. But like I said, I do expect a dip down towards the $5,000 range, and then a bounce from there. And if we break below that, then the lower targets come in effect. But that's where I'm at with that. We're going to take a look at the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart, and the resemblance is amazing. Like I've said before, if you guys are new here, charts are based on human emotions, and human emotions never change. They're cyclical. That's why the market's cyclical. And obviously this is a weekly chart, so it was a longer period of time. But you got to remember when, you know, when this was all happening, we didn't have the internet, social media, none of that stuff. Not a whole lot of people were able to get in as quick, and times were a lot slower. So I did add a new line here from these two peaks. As you can see, I have lines drawn from the peaks to where it broke down, and once we broke out of those, we never came back. And we'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart. I have the same lines drawn, which we've broken out of. Now, if we look at this one, this is the last resistance from the peaks. And if you look at what happened, and again, guys, I want to stress that there was no capitulation candle in this at all. No capitulation candle. Looks like the so-called hyperwave, but if that was a, you know, went by the hyperwave theory, it should have went, you know, dove down to $50 or whatever, but it never happened. That's why I think that's just a bunch of clickbait. Anyways, from these two peaks, as you can see, this is the last line of resistance from this bear market. And we tested it and came back down. And then once we broke through, obviously a huge bull run started. Also, I want to point out that right here, the gold ETF was approved. So, you know that, and we are looking for an ETF to be approved for Bitcoin. Not to say that's what's going to happen. But no matter what, guys, I do believe there's going to be some big news coming, and we're going to see something like this in Bitcoin. I know it's kind of a bold statement, but I truly believe it. But as you can see, I drew the same lines here in Bitcoin, and I've drawn trend lines from each peak to the breakdown over here. What's interesting is the bottom of this looks just like the gold chart, rounded bottom, two touches on the bottom trend line, continued up from there. And this is why I believe we continue up, guys. This is the last line of resistance right here from the peaks. And we've tested it once. We've come back down to test this line, which I do believe, you know, is possible. We come back down, test this EMA here, open it up so you can see that's my 13 EMA on the daily, which would bring us right around the 50-50 range. So I believe if we come back up and we're able to break this line, which now is going to be, if we were to go straight up now, it would be about the 44.40 range. But if we break this with conviction, come back down, test it for support and get support, I do believe that everybody's going to be extremely surprised what happens next. I believe, you know, we continue up from there. And like I said, it's probably not going to be a moonshot, but I do believe we have a steady rise from there. Also, I'm going to look at the RSI of this real quick and take a look at the RSI on the weekly and compare it to the 2013 bull run, where I drew this trend line from the 2015 bear market, 2014-15 bear market. This is the peak of the 2013 bull run. And if we look, we got resistance down here once, twice, broke through, never looked back. Drew the same trend line in the 2017 bull run, got resistance once down here, twice, and we've broken through that. Guys, we could come back down and test this area. It is possible, but like I said, I think the lowest we go from here is the 4,400 range, and that's just my opinion, but I do believe that's it. Now let's look at the monthly RSI on this. And as you can see, I've drawn two arcs here. This is the 2013 bull run. This is the 2017 bull run peak. As you can see, let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this. This is the bear market of 2014-15, and each one of these arrows represents a lower low in the RSI, and we had 4 lower lows and then continued up from there. If we look at the RSI on the 2018 bear market, same thing. We had 4 lows. I do believe, you know, it's possible that we trend sideways and come over, you know, all the way into the end of this year before getting a bull run. But keep in mind, there's a lot of stuff going on with the Bitcoin right now, and this could end up being a quicker arc. Just keep that in mind. But I do believe, guys, the lows are in. The bull market, if we haven't begun, is going to begin real quick. So that's my opinion and my view of the market. And I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, click the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash those likes, guys. It really helps the channel out. Also, make sure you comment. Let me know what you think of the video and enter in your chance to win a free t-shirt Sunday. And thanks for coming around. I will see you next video.